Okay.
So this is really how we go about this to make the very best use of the time. The first thing I'm going to do is just to ask you to tell me, in a nutshell, what it is that you would like to achieve. Okay, so I mean that will be the first part of this. Don't give me any detail because we will be going into that afterwards. Okay. Then what I'll ask you to do is give me a little, say, verbal tour of Toff's environment, really. You know, where he lives, where his bed is, what the garden's like. So it's like I'm there, I can see it for myself. Okay, and then what we're going to do is go through all his life, really. I want to see what's happening and what I can pick up that might actually have anything to do with this thing in a nutshell that you've already told me. So there's nothing that I can think of really which is an isolated thing. It's going to have connections in all sorts of other things. So a bit like a jigsaw puzzle, what we do is try to get the little bits in, because when you start putting together, you begin to notice a difference.
Right.
One at a time, they don't do it. And then we will, as we go about it, won't ignore the actual thing that's worrying you. We'll look at what will be good strategies to actually cope with that. But that thing itself won't be so bad if you get the other things in. If you understand what I'm saying. So it sounds a bit sort of airy-fairy, but so the first thing is, how would you like to just tell me, you know, in a nutshell, what you'd like to achieve?
I would like him to be a little less demanding at times.
Right.
When it's our time.
Yes, of course, always when it's your time, isn't it?
Did you say? I mean, we've gone through all the normal puppy stuff with him, and we've seen big improvements, haven't we? Yeah. And what he was doing when he was 6 months old, he's not doing anymore. But it's just there's been one consistent part of his behaviour that we've tried to ignore. We've tried to reinforce the positives, but we're not getting past it.
So difficult. And I imagine he picks certain times of day to do this, doesn't he?
Yes,
he does.
Absolutely.
But we'll look at that in detail. So that's what we're looking at. Really, him needing more at certain times. Okay. Right. Tell me a little bit about, his environment.
Okay. You could show.
That'd be nice, yeah.
Okay.
Right, we're in the lounge.
We're in the lounge.
So this is where, I'll turn the camera up. There is the Lord Master himself.
There he is. Oh, look.
He's a very handsome boy.
Oh, isn't he lovely?
He does get away with murder because of his good looks.
Yes.
So that's one of his favourite vantage points.
Brown or black?
He's brown.
He's beautiful, isn't he? I can certainly see the Labrador.
Yes. He's like a Labrador with little legs. That's his bed there.
Yeah.
He's quite happy there. He does tend to, there we go. We tend to call this his chair. So he's got his own chair.
Right, okay.
That you can sleep on as well.
Brilliant.
Our bedroom's up there.
Yes.
He's really good, doesn't come up at night, but he will come up from about 6 in the morning and start whimpering.
Why? How did you stop him doing that?
Well, there is a gate.
Oh, okay.
we've got
a gate
we've got a spare gate, so yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
Access denied.
Yes, yeah. Okay.
And in terms of his environment, well.
Oh, fantastic. Right, lovely.
He's got.
Yeah, and that's
a fairly decent garden.
He certainly has. Now, if that was my Cocker Spaniel, he is like very similar, only he can fly. He would leap over things. So that's quite good. You've got a bit of Labrador in there. You've got a bit of substance.
Yes.
Oh, brilliant. Right. So this is the barking time, presumably.
Yeah, he's really lucky in terms of where he lives.
Hasn't it? Lovely. Absolutely.
So he gets lots of, we're quite remote. He gets lots of nice rural walks,
yes,
up country lanes. And he's really good in terms of dogs and horses and bicycles. He moves to the side of the road. So apart from pulling, he's actually pretty good when he's outside, isn't it? It is just.
Well, we'll look at all that. He is very, very lucky. Right. Okay. So I'll get a picture of this as we go through. Is he castrated?
Yes.
How old was he when he was done?
6 months.
Okay. Is he 100% healthy that you know?
Yes.
As far as we know, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they checked it 4 months ago, didn't
Do you need to get a glass of water, Theo?
Well, I always start doing this when I start talking. It'll go. I will in a minute. I'll go and get some water if it doesn't. Thank you. Okay, so let's start at where does he sleep at night time? Downstairs in his bed.
He does,
Yeah.
yes.
Before you go to bed, do you just open the door and let him out, or do you take him out, or what do you do?
We go out with him.
We take him out.
Okay.
And then he has a biscuit.
For coming back in again, or for going out?
After coming in.
After coming in, he has a nighttime biscuit.
So he comes in obviously quite willingly.
He does, yes.
Yeah.
With Labrador in him, I guess he likes his food.
Yeah.
He likes his treats. His food, actually, you can put down in the morning and he'll leave it.
Right, we'll talk about food. That's on the thing. Because one thing, to get him really motivated, you need something that you can pay him with that he values.
Right.
And so we need to look at how you can boost the value of food.
Right.
All right. Right, so that's brilliant. So during the night, he's quiet, is he? He doesn't come upstairs, you said.
No.
He's quiet. He
Never
doesn't
hear.
bark for you to come
No.
down?
No, he doesn't. No. Till about
So
by
he
sort of
normally-
6, half 6. Because that's when I would normally get up anyway, really. So
Okay. So does he wake you, or do you go down anyway?
half and half.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's normally you, Simon, who comes down first, is it?
Yes.
So as you come down and open the gate, tell me what's happening.
Once he hears me getting up, he'll go to the gate.
Right.
And he'll sit there waiting, and he'll have a bit of a fuss on the stairs. And then we'll come down and we'll open the blinds and open the door.
Sounds
He
like
won't actually go out quite often when I open the door. You would expect most dogs want to, fly out, but he'll come and follow me into the kitchen while I make a coffee. He's got a crate in the kitchen that he just uses as like a bit of a den. He'll go and sit in his crate while I'm making a coffee.
So really, if he's woken you up, that wasn't necessary. He
No.
wasn't waking you to go out.
I think he just wants the company then.
So he thought, oh, well, it's daylight now. I think I'm going to have somebody down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You might just think about, I can see there's a slight relevance here, because he has, whatever he's doing, he's not barking, is he? He's just stirring, is he?
Just whimpering and crying a little
So
bit,
he starts the day sometimes having you obeying him.
Mm.
That his whimpering is actually getting you to do what he wants, which is a sort of thread which obviously with this barking will be, he's barking for the same reason, isn't he?
Yeah.
It might be, now I'm not, just a suggestion, might be good to either try to preempt it, so you go down before he starts whimpering.
Yep.
Or you wait and you try to wait for a break in the whimpering before you go down, if you see, just see if you can, and then maybe another thing would be not to give him too much of a fuss, because basically from his point of view, he's thinking, right, I've woken up, I'm bored, it's daylight, oh, I know, I'll get Simon down and he'll give me a fuss.
I'm the soft one as well.
Oh, right, yes, okay.
I'm the easy touch.
All right, it's usually that way.
With dogs as well as wives.
Oh, I find out all this stuff, it's good. Right, so I would say, just bear in mind that the more you do what he wants when he demands, it'll obviously spill over into other things. Just think about it. Okay, so then he goes and settles down in his crate in the kitchen while you make yourself a coffee or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then you obviously sit down somewhere to have this coffee, and he stays in his crate. What's the next thing that happens in his day?
He's very dozy in the morning.
He's a very
quite
lazy.
often, if I go out to work or go to my home office, you're with him then, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
And he just goes back to sleep. You have to wake him up to go for a walk.
He's a very lazy dog in the
Well,
morning.
his day is the wrong way round, really. You'd like him to be lazy
Yes.
in the evening, wouldn't you?
Yes.
What about breakfast? We'll talk food. Do you feed him breakfast?
Yes.
Feed him breakfast, and if it's just his normal dry food, he'll look at it, might eat a couple of bits. We'll give him a tin of sardines, probably two or three times a week.
Bribe him to
Coat.
eat. Right, okay.
If the sardines on it, everything goes.
Fine. Right, we'll talk food in a minute
Mhm,
properly.
yeah.
So as far as the morning is concerned, at what stage does he have breakfast?
As soon as I get up. So,
Oh, so you do
yeah,
that first. So you come, you make your fuss on the stairs, you come
Yeah.
down, you put the kettle on, you give him breakfast.
yes, I do.
Ah, right. So he does start a nice chain of
I'm
things.
starting to piece this together myself, to be honest.
But you're saying to him, okay, if you don't want your kibble, I'm going to put some sardines on you.
Yes.
And then he's ready to go out, is he?
Well, if I take him out, if you left him to his own devices, then he'd go back to sleep.
So do you take him out?
I do take him out, yeah.
Okay, so he does what he has to do outside. And then
Yeah.
I imagine, Ali, that you come down then, do you?
I do eventually, yes.
Doesn't he bring you
Some hours
in
later.
bed?
I like my
Doesn't he bring you
bed.
tea in bed?
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
You get a cup of coffee in the morning, do you? Before
I
you
do,
get up?
yes. And then I get up and I come down, I potter around, and he's quite happy just to,
So he's
So
not
either-
being demanding or anything.
no, nothing.
Right. Okay. Now, here's a little thing for you to consider, and why things always peak in the
Excuse me.
bless you. Things always peak in the evening. You know, it's when the puppies do their zoomies. It's evening time. This is why. Every time anything happens in his life which gets him excited, energetic, too much play, long walk, anything at all, his brain, he's going to get a little flood, isn't he, of adrenaline, cortisol, and, you know, action. These chemicals could actually stay in him for hours. So if you think of this like a bucket, he's had the nice long night, it's all drained down, okay, so and a nice peaceful morning, but bit by bit, little things start going in. And some of the things you do we'll find out, will be fueling it. It's going more and it's filling faster than it's draining. So by the time you get to the evening, his little bucket's at the top. And he says, right, now I need action. I need stuff because it's all happening. Okay. So what we need to be looking at is two things as we go through, is anything which is unnecessarily filling it up. Okay. There may be things which you shouldn't do, and I'll name one in a minute. And then we'll also look at things which you can do that help to drain it. I mean, he has his own ways of draining it.
Yeah.
One is probably barking at you. But one example of filling the bucket up, which I used to do with my Cocker Spaniel, Pickle. Well, I didn't do it, but Tony, who I'm with, he did it. He takes the ball player and starts playing ball with him. Now, Pickle, I don't know if Toffee's the same. He'll play ball until he dies.
Yes.
And he gets more and more and more fixated with it. Now, once you start doing something really repetitive, you start stoking it up. I hid the ball player. One day, Pickle came in. Now, I have a pail of water in my sitting room because I've got so many dogs. He came charging in, digging in the water. He knocked the whole thing all over the floor. And I said to Tony, you found the ball thrower, didn't you? Because instead of calming him down, it fires him up. Now, what happens is you think of what's natural. What is natural is, especially in any sort of gun dog, is for them to run off and fetch a bird or fetch something and bring it back.
Yeah.
Done. If he's a wild dog, it's fetch something, eat it, kill it, or miss it, come back, done. Then there may be another one a bit later. You've got nothing which is repetitive like that. So it's almost like you're making him a junkie, a ball junkie. All right. So I will guarantee if you play through his ball 2 or 3 times, then did something else, we can talk of other things that you could be doing, put it away for a bit, keep the balls out the way, then perhaps take it again a bit later. You will find that he doesn't get so fired up. That is a good example of something that you do thinking that you are tiring him out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Actually, you're doing the opposite.
And he has his longest walk early evening.
Yeah, there you go. So his long walk is stirring him up. If his walk was doing what it ought to do, he'd come back, have a drink and collapse. Now, do you take the ball on the walk?
No.
No.
Well, that's something. And we will look at the walk at the end, but we look at what the walk consists of, because, you know, you may find you're better to take him on an earlier walk and just a sniffing mooch before bedtime, because, because there are, there are things you're doing which is piquing him in the evening.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Right, okay. So that stress idea, we'll look as we go through things that you can do which drain his bucket, and things you can do or not do which are filling it up unwittingly. All right. Right, so let's see what's next. When you go out and leave him all alone, is that okay? Does he have any separation problems?
Seems
Doesn't
to.
seem to. No.
No.
Nothing.
And you leave him in the downstairs where he sleeps, do you?
Yes.
Yes.
Right. Okay. When you come home, how excited is he?
Okay. He's not. I've had dogs that are more
Yeah,
excited.
he's okay.
He wags his tail. He's pleased to see
Oh,
you.
wonderful.
But
So you're
He
not
doesn't knock you
stoking him
over,
up
does
when
he?
you come
No.
home, are you?
No,
You're
he
not
doesn't
trying to
jump
say
up.
fire-
He doesn't. Yeah.
Mhm.
He
No,
doesn't
so you're
jump
not.
up or
That's
knock you around.
brilliant. You're not firing him up. That's lovely. I'm just sort of checking.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next thing is people coming to the house. Now, if I came to your door and I rang the bell, what would happen? What would be happening inside the house?
He'd be barking and running to
And
the
going
door.
mental.
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay. So it's the same with the delivery or anything.
Yes.
And so when you open the door and let me in, what would happen?
He would jump up at you.
Get very excited and jump all
Yeah.
over.
Yes.
Okay, but he'd be pleased to see me.
Yes.
Oh,
Very.
yeah.
I suspect there's a little degree of anxiety in there.
Oh.
Okay.
I will tell you why. If you go to somebody's house and they've never seen you before, and they open the door and they want to hug you and cuddle you, do you want this? Do you want the other? You think, oh,
This
you
bit's
know,
strange.
yeah, you'd think they're a little bit anxious in pleasing you, or whatever, and that, but here is the thing. Every time he gets totally aroused when somebody comes to the house, you've got another injection of stuff that you don't want. Also, he's at an age where it'd be quite good, really, for some people who might not like a dog jumping all over them. It might be quite a good idea, mightn't it, if you had it a bit under control. This is what I would do. I would teach him that when the door, is it a bell or knocker?
It's a knocker.
When the door knocks, which is obviously banging outside, is quite an alarming thing, more alarming than a bell.
Mhm.
When that happens, that he learns to go in the kitchen. Have you got a kitchen door?
Yes.
That he goes somewhere behind a door, probably the kitchen, okay?
Okay.
And that's the first thing. So you can practice together. One of you go out, knock the door, and the other one say, come on, in the kitchen, and give him something to eat, which he loves.
Okay.
Right? It's got to be something really special you have ready for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then shut the door for a minute. Okay.
Okay.
Then let him out. Then the person can knock again. Do it about 5 or 10 times, just so he realizes knock means kitchen and food. Knock means kitchen and food. Okay. So that when you've got a delivery and it's a real knock, he'll know and he'll bark, but he still knows that when you call him into the kitchen, he's going to get food. So you're going to find it much easier. Okay. And also it tends to make him, it must be alarming. I'm sure the barking is alarming. It's not because he's thinking, oh, wonderful, somebody's come, because that's not, it's not going to be like that. Now, what I would say is, when the person's in, once they're in, that's the time to let him out. So they're there first, and he meets them rather than them walking into him. Do you see? If you think it's somebody who'd rather not be jumped up on, it might be a good idea to sit them down first.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Or if it's a kitchen table you want to sit down at, well, okay, go in the kitchen, but let them sit at the table, because you've got the table in front of you, which is okay. So you don't want to be, I mean, I can tell that you're not particularly worried about him jumping on people, so you don't want to be nagging him all the time.
No.
But I think if the people were just asked to take no notice of him till he'd calmed down, therefore he's got no, there's no benefit to him jumping up and getting all excited because he's not getting any attention for it. Then when he's calmed down, that's fine. That's what I would do.
Okay.
Again, we're looking at ways to stop the bucket filling.
Yeah.
So every day you get the post, you get a delivery or get something, he's going, your evening is likely to be worse.
Yeah.
Because it stays in you.
The amount of Amazon deliveries we've had in the last 4 months.
Well, now every Amazon delivery I have is going to be an opportunity to reinforce. Okay, you are barking, but that's okay. Come on. Okay, in the kitchen. Good boy, shut the door.
The Amazon driver loves him, actually.
One thing you could do, of course, instead of food, is if you keep his ball, don't leave the ball about.
No.
Balls, so you've got no fetching balls and trying to nag you to pick them up. If you have a ball somewhere and somebody comes to the door, instead of dropping food on the floor, just roll a ball in the room.
Okay.
That'll make it, because what happens is you're sort of pairing somebody at the coming to the door with something he likes, whether it's food or the ball. So somebody coming to the door is a better experience than it used to be, you know, over time. Yeah. And you stop them getting too excited.
Yeah.
All right. Right. So what have we got next? Let's talk about barking. Okay. So he barks at the door.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Does he, where you are, can you see people walk past? Does he watch people walking past?
Yes.
Does he bark at them?
Yes.
Okay. Does he bark when he's out in the garden?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. When you're out on walks, does he bark at people?
No.
No.
So it's only at home.
Yes.
All right. Now, I would say, as he's watching out of the window and he's barking, he's not saying, oh, there's a lovely person, come in and be nice to me. He's not. He's yelling at them, go away.
Oh.
He's bound to be saying, go on your way.
Yeah.
Because, you know, he's a dog. He'll be guarding to a certain extent. He can't help it. Okay, so what is happening there? He says to the person, he gets quite sort of fairly alarmed, a bit excited. Woof, his bucket's filling. Woof, 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 woof. Go away. And they walk on their way. Right, job done. Barking gets rid of people. The reason he's 10 months old, round about a year is when dogs can start getting funny, especially with other dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So if there's other dogs going past, you really don't want him to rehearse barking at dogs and then it resulting in them moving away, because they do, because that really isn't something you want to start up.
Yep.
You see,
Not bothered with dogs, is it?
No,
It's people.
It's people.
or people, well, whatever. You don't want him to be rehearsing at home, because it'll spill over. I think as he gets bigger. So and it's the same in the garden. If he hears a noise,
Yeah, he barks.
okay. What does he outside? If he hears a noise, is it a lot of barking, or is it just a
lot?
Okay. Well, barking, I would think, is probably one of the things that fills the stress bucket up most of all. And when it's full, because it's full, he'll bark more. It's a sort of vicious circle, really. So this is how I would do this. First of all, use a little bit of management.
Okay.
If the window is at a place, say, where you could put some of that frosting on the bottom of it so he can't see out, that would make it so much easier for you, and it just wouldn't let the light, it would let the light in, but you could see out over it, and it would be, that's probably the easiest way, because then you haven't got to deal with it. But if he barks, he's done, whoa, and my Pickle still does it. I can't stop him starting barking, but I can interrupt it immediately. And then immediately I thank him. I say, okay, Pickle, come. Now I keep bits of his dry food in my pocket, but he likes his dry food, so that's all right. So as soon
Keep
as
some sardines in your pocket.
you have to have fishy pockets. You can actually, funnily enough, there's a company called Fish for Dogs, and they do dry fish skin, and you can buy dried sprats online as well, tiny little sprats.
He loves fish, doesn't he?
And they're not smelly at all. Well, not very anyway. So you say to him, you know, as soon as he starts, catch it immediately. Tough, okay, come. And he's got to know when he comes to you, he's going to get a bit of food straight away. You've not got time to go to the fridge and stuff. Have some pots about the place.
Yeah.
All right. So that you stop it before he starts getting high. Also, this is barking, remember, and you are beginning to show him that you have a way of stopping. I know it's a different sort of barking. It's not barking for attention, but it is him being vocal.
Yeah.
All right. So I would say that as soon as he starts, you immediately thank him, tell him it's okay, and then call him away. And now if it's somewhere, like say he was barking at the front of the house, call him into the kitchen. You'd probably be in there as well, and shut the door so he can't go back and carry on.
Right.
Not, thank you very much for my bit of food. I'm now going to go and continue. All right. So that's what I would do there. Same in the garden. I think of it's a bit like a child, say as a 9-year-old child, suddenly starts screaming, I can hear danger, perhaps it's a man, I think it's a man with a gun, going to all kill us all. You know, it's from nothing to like that. You certainly wouldn't be yelling, be quiet, would you? Shut up. Or you would, and you wouldn't ignore it either. You'd help him out. You'd let him know it was yeah. So as far as the dog's concerned, you want to take charge of that immediately. Call him immediately, say it's okay, and call him. And if in the garden, if does it happen a lot, or is it just occasional?
It's every day.
It's every day.
Mm-hmm.
It might be an idea while you work on it to, when you let him out, when you go out with him, put him on a long line, like 30 foot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, got one of those.
All right, so that he's got plenty of freedom. You could even drop it. And you could trail it about, but it means as immediately as something, you can make sure he doesn't ignore you.
Okay.
So immediately it's okay. If he's on the line, come on, we're going in. Good boy. Give him a bit of food, okay, for coming. If you've dropped it, you could probably get him very quickly because you run and you stand on it. You can still get him in, okay. It means he's got to wear a collar or a harness or something, but I would do that for a while.
Yeah.
Because you need to teach him that when he's outside, you open the door and say, okay, Toff, come, that he's going to come. It's take a bit of work.
No problems, yeah.
It probably also mean not leaving the door open quite so much so that he can't sort of rush out and bark at things whenever he feels
It
like.
does, because the doors are open
Yeah,
all
our
day.
doors just open all day, so it'd be good to have it closed.
Or perhaps if you think he won't go upstairs because it's not a habit anymore, maybe move the gate and put that there.
Okay, we have got another gate. Yeah,
Yeah.
Or something which just is a bit of a barrier.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because it's not. You can see that this is going to be stoking him up, and it's also him being very vocal and having some success, because whatever happens is he barks for long enough out there and the thing stops, the person goes, done.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's better if you to take a bit of control over it and help your evenings.
Help our neighbours.
Yes, probably. It is quite annoying, actually, somebody's dog.
I can imagine, yes. I do apologise.
But what is funny, sometimes I get somebody whose neighbours have been complaining about the dog barking. I say to the people, well, as soon as a dog barks, open the door, say, thank you. And I say, it must really annoy the neighbours, mustn't it? If the dog's barking and you thanking. But then you call the dog in.